Hey there, welcome to week 3. This is Michael, and hello to the Section 55 people, or the 55ers, as I'm going to call you from now on. Actually, just kidding. If you want to come up with a nickname for this group, since I'm doing 2 sections, thank you everybody for helping me with that. That all worked out well, and I think in terms of conversation density, everything's fantastic. Now, one snafu this week is we experienced a little glitch in getting notifications from Mural, and that did kind of take a little bit of getting used to. Fortunately, we got it fixed. If you're interested, notifications and that sort of stuff, we're going to handle in like week 9. So just in case you're using Mural and the work we do here to kind of also understand the different goals of an information architect, that's a good thing to understand is activity and such. Now, our goal is to start at the bottom. So we're looking for content, and I think I showed you here one of the things that is interesting to me is to try to decompose databases. So finding out what's underneath the hood. And in this case, we're looking at Twitter is a good example just because it's a pretty vast database of stuff that is pretty unstructured, and any structure that we add to it is going to help us find things. And the explorations you guys did of trying to make useful Twitter searches did tend to start with content. It started with searching the content of the tweet itself. What I really want you to think about, and for this week as well, is decomposing that into pieces. So let's say a good example might be email. Email has a subject, it has a content, anyway, subject, sender, so on and so forth. But it has a thing called read or not read. That little flag or that one piece of data is very important as we come to making it useful. Now, we're not looking to make things useful quite yet. We're just trying to find something interesting. So just to let you know, it's those columns of information. The reason why I wanted you to look at data types is what are in there. Sometimes there's some really interesting decision points in there. There's location is a really interesting one. So it's a mini database course. Very short. Apologies, but we do have to deal with databases, and we want content that is repeatable. So then the other thing that might have gotten a little bit lost is if you went to this Airtable, which many of you did, and many of you are using Airtable, which is great. I don't think you're going to be able to share Airtables directly with me. So just to let you know, for the actual deliverable for the end of the week, which we'll also have some talk, we'll set up a session on Thursday to talk about. That deliverable is just going to be a CSV file. I just want to see how many rows you have. I'm sorry, how many columns you have, and somewhat importantly, how many rows. That there's more than one of them. But these were already ready to use. So like this advertising campaign already has data in it. You could have just picked this if you wanted to. Nobody seemed to want to do that, but I just did want to make it an option for those of you who did not want to go through all the fun there is to be had with scraping and I/O. If you did go through that, I think you might have enjoyed the fact of just kind of looking under the hood, so to speak, at what websites are made of. And this idea of data types on your computer is a similar concept, that you do this every day, you're creating things. How do you organize this stuff? I don't think my desktop is particularly well organized, but there's stuff on it, there's previews of it, there's names. Then there's a ton of other information under the hood, and again, that same concept, like date created, things like that help you organize this content. So we're really just trying to look at it and figure out what's going on there and trying to make it better if possible. So just to say, I am going on my own exploration where I found a place that I'm interested in these perfume ingredients. I'm interested in understanding how to combine those to make things that smell good. And this resource here sells you that stuff. But if you were to scrape the data, which I did, probably don't have it shown here, it's not very interesting. Like, it's got price, it's got sizes, it's got SKU numbers. Most of that stuff doesn't help me with my goal, but it gets me started, and that's what I wanted you to do, is find something that gets you started, and what we're going to try to do is expand that this week. We also spoke here about data types. That's what I'm saying. Like, is there something like read, unread? Some really interesting ways of finding out how to organize that data, which you might not see directly from scraping it from a website. It might already be organized. So a good one for many people, they do like top 50 movies or something like that. Well, in that case, you're really just talking about all movies. So hopefully there's a database somewhere that says every movie ever made, IMDb maybe. And then someone has gone and done the work of making it interesting by saying, here's the 50 best ones. So for your purposes, it's fine to start with the 50 best ones, but we're not particularly interested in the best part. We're just interested in something to work with, and how do you, like if I just had one column and it was the name of the movie, I could be done. But that wouldn't be any fun, right? Like, it's not very manipulatable. So you want more things to manipulate and more extra data. So year it was created, maybe awards that it won, maybe what format it's in, the screen, is it in Cinerama, director, anyway. So there's a lot of extra data that we're looking for. So that's what we're going to turn in this week. We'll have a sync session on Thursday if anyone has questions. If you're still having like right now, we're going to get into week 3, which is kind of about mashing things up. So patterns are really saying that we kind of understand what we're talking about. Like, I just pretended to know what a movie database might consist of, but hey, that's not too unreasonable. So we've got something that we can work with, but we want to expand it. So we want to mash it up. So if you go to the reading for this week, or there's a good thing, and there's a kind of a joke long movie this guy does, but his whole thing was mashing things up, putting two things together that didn't necessarily work. And these are two data sources that he might not actually have control of, but by mixing things together, we can find creative stuff. So I found something for me, which is the perfume supply thing. But then I found another source, which you can look at here, and it is like the database, the mother lode of data about a perfume. Now, it's a perfume, so it's already made, not super helpful, but it does tell you how to classify and organize, and gives you lots of extra data around smells. So you can go look at that. So there's a few exercises. One hope this week is that we collaborate a little bit. We might all be working on a subject such as movies, and we can help each other find different sources or explore, what are the descripting elements of that, and those descriptive elements. We've also got a mini, tiny design course this week, because one thing we find if we think about Gestalt theory is that we will see patterns in things that might not exist. So I want you to kind of be a little skeptical of saying, oh, I know the way to describe a movie. It's by how long is it? Like, is a movie better because it takes more time? So you might have a column like time, but seeing a relationship between that and some other thing might be something you just might make up. So again, tiny mini design course, just to get you realizing that just by putting things in a spreadsheet, sometimes people think that there's meaning in there, such as I saw one that said URL 1, URL 2, and URL 3. Now, these are just 3 URLs. They look related, but actually they just point to something else that, if you looked at them, might be completely unrelated. So we're finding relationships, we're describing relationships in our content. This is the first step of kind of moving up the ladder, saying, as an information architect, I think I understand what's going on, what I have to work with. And we're also going to talk a little bit about some principles of information design. In this case, we've got a little 2x2 to do. And that's this week's topic. So again, look forward to contributions through the week. I got a lot of stuff on Sunday, which I didn't have the chance to really reply to. So hopefully we get more conversation and helping each other. If you all find things that you are interested in, help each other together to find better resources or more extra data. That would be great too. And of course, any questions, you can email me or ask it to Canvas, and I'll talk to you guys soon.